So welcome to this particular new moon, Sound Healing, where we're moving into the energy of Aquarius. And I know that you are already probably aware of this, but the energy of Aquarius is, we're coming not only into this month being the Aquarian sign, but actually this decade we're coming into the Aquarian age. And while that is incredibly exciting because we're coming into a new place of freedom actually within our hearts, in order for us to be free truly from all of our old patterns and paradigms and systems and ways in which we've been programmed, that brings up a lot of intensity. Because it's needing to shift now. And a few people obviously resonating with that in the room. So there will be at least one area in your life, foundational area in your life, that is really asking to be transformed now. And the energy for the transformation is here. But the transformation can't take place if we're reacting and going into our old patterns. We've got to become like super aware of what's serving us and what's not. And just, you know, I've talked about this obviously a lot. I feel like I talk about it every time, but now it's just got to go. It just can't live in this new paradigm, in this new age, in freedom, because it doesn't come from freedom, it comes from fear and control. And the two energies are just totally different. So with that, I'm going to talk specifically about relationship, because that all comes back to the way we relate to ourselves in our masculine and feminine parts of who we are. So the masculine parts of us, those parts of us that are out there doing, that are busy out in the world creating, and the feminine aspects of us, that's the nurturing, the holding, and that love energy. So the true masculine energy is that freedom energy, that divine masculine, and the divine feminine's love. And that's really what's being asked to be united within our hearts now. Love and freedom. But how can we have that balance in relationship with ourselves if we have expectations and old conditioned patterns about how we relate in love relationships? Love relationship with ourselves, love relationship with our partners, loving relationship with our children, loving relationships in our community, with our friends, with our family. So those people that are closest to your hearts are the ones that are going to be the ones to help you transform these old patterns. So that can look frustrating, annoying, tedious. You can be impatient, you can be angry or frustrated. I think I mentioned frustrated. So it can look like that. If you're in the pattern, your pattern by the way, we'll always think it's coming from somebody else, but it's always your own pattern. Or it could look like, okay, this dynamic's not working for me anymore, this pattern. How can I create a new pattern in love and freedom? Because you can have both. within the self. And because we're all changing and we're all coming and trying to understand ourselves in this balance of how to be in love within yourself, within your life, and having the freedom to move wherever your heart needs you to be, that's going to be the opposite to your conditioning. Your idea about being in relationships, your idea about family, your idea about society, what's going on around the world. They're just opinions, aren't they? And we all have opinions on everything, on what's going on within our own lives, and also in everybody's life, in our world's life, and in particular at the moment with these earth changes. So some of you may be aware that I went to Uluru over Christmas and New Year, doing some work there, and also I've organised. I am doing a retreat. Yeah. I just didn't want to leave. I just love that place so much. I was in with the locals on the first day, getting driven around. It was so beautiful. So I will have a retreat coming up there in May, returning to the spiritual heart. And it's all about your relationship, actually, with yourself, with your life purpose, and moving forward with that and how that looks. And we'll be working really closely with the land there, with the ancestors, with the grandmothers, with the local Aboriginal elders, and of course the beautiful Uluru and Katajuka and Attila. So that's coming up in May this year, and so it's a really incredible place of transformation. And as you would have seen, obviously there was a lot of floods and lightning. All the water holes were filled up, and the fires were happening at the same time, and now the floods are happening down that line as well. So what is happening on a collective level, on a macro level, is happening to us on a micro level. So the earth is cleansing, the Kundalini, that fire, is lit. She's clearing the lines. She's clearing the lines of her heart. She's washing away what no longer serves, and she's transforming and lighting up the life force of the Kundalini energy of the earth. And at this moment in time, I'd like to talk about the masculine energy, actually. Because the masculine energy within the hearts of all of us, whether you're male or female, is actually clearing all those old patriarchal lines. So for our beautiful men folk, that can be a little bit more challenging than what us as women find, because predominantly you're leading with the masculine energy. So that can bring up a lot of vulnerability in the heart that's wanting to be expressed. And it's really important that you're very compassionate with yourselves right now, all of us, and can hold that masculine part of the self in love and compassion as we release our hearts back into that beautiful eternal flame of love. So it's so easy to get caught up in our dramas, in our stories, and what's taking us outside of ourselves. But if we can be mindful at this moment in time, and with the new moon, it's such a beautiful time to really come in. Like the new moon is the dark moon, so it's like we've got that internal place. You may have noticed, even in the last couple of days, you might have been a bit tired and just really wanting to kind of hide away from the world, and listen to those movements, because the earth and the planets and what's happening at the moment is really supporting all of us through this move. But if we fight it, if we're fighting, what we're feeling like we need to do to care for ourselves, that's actually where the imbalance happens. And it's so easy to say, well, I've got to do this. I've got no choice. I've got children or grandchildren and jobs and all the rest of it, and activities. But during your day, if you're aware of what you need for you, you take care of what is most important, and then you put in what it is that you need for yourself. And it may be actually the opposite to, sometimes, like I used to like to get everything done and then I would relax. I don't know, that was just my little program. I don't do that anymore. I just relax and then I get things done. Maybe. So, I find that if I just go with my own flow and just relax, things might not get done for quite a while. But then when it's time, it's just like that. It's like, oh my God, there's just like a genie that's just turned up in my home. It takes a minute to get on the phone to Peter. So it's really allowing yourself whatever it is that you need to do to care for yourself while you're moving through your old patterns, while you're changing. And as soon as you do that, that old pattern just goes, and it's just not there anymore. But we need to become aware of where the projected energy is and actually go, no, I'm not going to do that pattern for myself anymore. And when you make that commitment, the energy doesn't have anything to hold to. There's just no hold. There's this freedom there. And usually you'll find with making those decisions, you end up in a new place within yourself of love and freedom. So because we've had a really busy time coming into this new year, and we've just kind of skipped over, I don't know, it did feel like we skipped over Christmas and New Year. And, here we are, and particularly, I guess, with everything going on here in Australia as well, there's a time now for rest. So this new moon is bringing us that time. We're very lucky here in Australia. We've got a public holiday coming up, so we can have a rest and just chill out a bit and just take a breath and look at what it is that you need to do to care for yourself. And you're going to have a very happy heart and a very free heart to move and to do whatever it is that you need to do.
Is this the year or the next? This opening? Is this for this year, for the decade, for this next moon cycle?
This cycle this particular moon cycle, we're going to be in a cycle for another 4 months.
Yeah.
But in particular, this year, 2020, there is going to be a massive amount of change. So, and that change means those things that are not in alignment with the highest good will fall away. Yeah, which is great, isn't it? So exciting, but also that can bring up a lot of fear for people. And I'll talk a little bit about that, because with that fear coming up with the change, just know that you are supported, even though you don't know the outcome. Doesn't matter. You don't need to know the outcome. And I think if you can really go with that and just live more in the moment of what it is that you need to care and love for yourself, what's going to give you more freedom within yourself, and make choices based on that, on the love and freedom for your heart, what you need to do to care, and make some decisions that are going to support you mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually, and allow yourself to be moved with that. So, but at this particular moment, with this new moon, you do need to watch your reactions to things. So, where it's very easy to blow up and you might just want to react and roar, just take a breath. Roar under the breath, no. Take a breath and go, okay, what is it that I am releasing within myself? What part of me is out of balance right now? Because when we get frustrated, we're usually out of balance. I notice that myself. Like when I get frustrated, you know, if something's not going my way, it's just like, okay, well, this is happening for a reason. And that is one thing I did notice over this, like this Christmas, New Year bit. Things were changing in the moment and were just, they were just changing, and I was just having to change my plans. You know, I had an idea, this is what I was going to do, and then it's like, oh no, you're not going to be doing that, you're going to be over here. You know, how unfortunate I got told I needed to extend my holiday to Uluru. I still had a few tours I needed to do. So, that was fantastic. So just allow yourself to go with that. You know, it's been interesting. I don't know if you've noticed, but I know that I've noticed, you know, I've been, making a plan, and then it's like, oh, that plan's not going to happen. I'm finding it very hard to commit to a plan. Even to do something the next day, it's like things are just unfolding as they are. And I'm just allowing myself to go with that. If it's feeling in alignment. So just listen as you're going along. Has anyone else got any questions? I do have a mini retreat coming up in February on the 15th and 16th of Feb. It's the Valentine's weekend, and it's going to be a mini retreat on Saturday and Sunday of returning to oneness in sacred union. I can't recommend it highly enough, and particularly at this moment in time as our hearts are clearing and realigning with this freedom and love, and what that brings, what that looks like, and how to recognize even those patterns that we have set up in our DNA around the way to be in relationship with ourselves and in relationship with others. And it may be that your conditioning is not actually who you are at all, in relationship with yourself or with other people. I mean, isn't that an amazing thought? We're getting a lot of support right now from other beautiful beings that are supporting this earth through our changes. And we have this ability now to tap into those frequencies, those higher frequencies. There is a lot of high frequency on the planet, around the planet, within the planet. It's all awakening. It is an exciting time. It's a turbulent time with all of that, because obviously that's shifting all that old energy. But at the same time, if you know that, what's going to happen if you show up for your meditation, go for that walk in the bush or go down to the beach, spend some time connecting, because you will be guided and it'll be really clear. And then you just stick to your guidance. Just stick to where your heart's leading you. So tonight you'll have that opportunity. I'm going to guide you into that connection with yourself, and just letting go and just opening up to this magical time of love and wisdom that we're in. And also wanting to do, like at the end, we'll do some healing. We'll send that healing out to our beautiful earth, and all of our beautiful animals and reptiles and all of those that have lost their lives for this change. So we'll see we'll do a collective healing for the planet as well, but that'll all just happen as we build the energy. You just need to lay there and relax and we'll let that magic happen. So if there's anyone specifically that you have in your life that you'd like to send healing to tonight, you can invite, with their permission, some healing to go to them tonight. I think there's a lot of people that are really suffering at the moment, and there's a lot of hearts, that are really broken. So let's open our hearts to the love that we have within ourselves, and that kindness and compassion and care we have for ourselves, and through that we can actually offer that to the rest of the world.